Ito na kay Paul Ed Garcia.
Magandang hapon sa ating lahat. I am sure you're exhausted. So if I can ask, maybe you want to stand, shake a leg for a minute, just stretch. I want to thank you all for your patience, and I promise to be brief. I think it's, as Randy pointed out earlier, mahalaga na magkaroon tayo ng talakayan, na magkaroon tayo ng pag-uusap. So I will try my very best to provide that space. Well, first of all, fellow UP teachers and UP students, colleagues, it's good to be back. UP was my first port of call after I came back to the Philippines during the period of martial law. The Third World Study Center was my first home in the university campus, and I want to thank you. Professor Randy David was the first UP colleague who made me feel at home in this campus. Randy, thank you very much. In a sense, my coming here today is a way of repaying my debt of gratitude to the Third World Study Center, to Randy, and in fact, to some of you, I think there are 2 or 3 people who work at the Third World Studies who are retiring this year and next. They were there already when Third World Studies was operating in the 1980s when I first came. So I want to thank all of you. Well, before I start, I just want to say a few words before and beyond EDSA, because we are now on the eve of the People's Power experience. And I was walking around earlier. I know that many of you are 4th year, right? You said to me you were 4th year here, 3rd year, a few were in 2nd year. In fact, there are 2 students from political science from FEU at the back. And then at the middle, we have the crew from GMA 7, right? But you are here, you said, because you also wanted to learn. So thank you very much for coming together. For me, People Power began at the outset of the first quarter storm, when students convened before Congress to call for a non-partisan constitutional convention. I don't know how many of you remember when the 26th of January 1970 came about, which actually led to the student unrest. It was precisely for a call for a non-partisan constitutional convention. And many of the students who were there, we became conscientized, and the instrument of choice, if you remember, was the truncheon. I don't know how many of you have ever experienced a truncheon. That for me was the instrument of choice for the politicization of many young people during that period. So January 26th, and then January 30th, 1970, which became known as the Battle of Mendiola. I think you were mentioning to your seatmate what a truncheon was. Yung ginagamit yun ng police pang pukpok sa ulo. So many of us got conscientized that way in that period. The sacrifices of UP students were very clear. And I recall one of my seatmates from high school. In fact, I marched with him during the Battle of Mendiola. I remember going to the gates of Malacanang. His name was Enrique Voltaire Garcia, because we were both G. We were seatmates. He came over to UP, and he was a very valiant student leader, one of the first ones to advocate for the termination of the military bases. In fact, that was his thesis in law school. 16 years apart, the first water storm and the People's Power experience, to my mind, is very late. And then, in 1986, after the People's Power experience, in the crafting of the Constitution, many young people were involved. Pons was relating to us earlier the number of public hearings that were conducted in the country. I was the chair of the Public Hearings Committee, and I remember I went from Batanes all the way to Sulu. I remember I was in Batac, Ilocos Norte. I was being booed for over 5 minutes before I could speak. I went to the PMA. The soldiers were saying this constitution is against the military because it's about human rights. In other words, it was not easy to explain the Constitution, but we tried our very best, different parts of the country. And so, now, we are 2018, 32 years after the drafting of the Constitution. I still say, what we drafted was an imperfect Constitution. It has many flaws. But nevertheless, allow me to share with you my position. Why do I say, or what is my take on the attempts at charter change? So for purposes of economy, let me just put three reasons. Why am I against the drafting of a new charter? The first one is conjuncture. When I was in Latin America, I remember my friends told me the importance of the word coyuntura. Edmundo, ¿qué es la coyuntura actual? What is the actual conjuncture? It means what's the context. And therefore, what I'd like to say is this. From what I know, the conjuncture in our country is this. The 1987 Constitution is not the problem. It is part of the solution. Let me tell you a story. Just 3 weeks ago, I was with the Urban Poor Associations in Cubao. And there were people representing the urban poor from different parts of Metro Manila and in the environs, in Bulacan, in Garcia, in Laguna, and other provinces. And they said to me, we don't need another constitution. What we need is food on our table, a roof on our head, a regular job, access to affordable health care, and access to quality education. That is the urgent priority of our people. If you're going to put resources, time, energy, effort, put it there. If you're going to wage a war, don't wage war on drugs. Wage war on poverty. Wage war on inequality. Because that is the urgent need of our people. Not today, but yesterday. And so therefore, the problem really is not the Constitution. It's the legislators who have made a mess of the situation. And so the second point is process. If you don't trust the process, you will not trust the outcome. How can you trust a new Constitution to people whose priority is their remaining in office? You know, I wrote a brief article. It was entitled, "Putting a Stop to the Runaway Cha-Cha Train." And that very afternoon, I bumped into a former classmate of mine who was in Congress. And he said to me, alam mo Ed, yung nasa utak namin, nasa isip namin, is how do we retain our power? How do we retain our stay in Congress? He was very blunt. He was very honest. And so therefore, why am I going to trust the drafting of a new constitution in the hands of people whose interests are very narrow? The students of the past, the students like yourselves, we protested because there was a constitutional convention and we wanted it to be non-partisan. And now, it's not even a convention. It's CONAS. It's an assembly of politicians whose interests are very clearly on their side. As one senator, in fact, told me during the hearings, he said to me, ito ay konas sa mga chuchu. In other words, this is going to be very sad. You know, regarding process, I respect the consultative body that has been created by the President. I respect former Chief Justice Puno. However, it was made very clear by Congress that whatever they provide will be simply consultative in character. It will be handed over to the Congress, who will decide precisely on the content of the new Constitution. You know, there is a House Bill or House Resolution number 8 of 2016 still, penned by Representative Gonzales, which outlines a new Constitution. And so, I was told they're very far into the process. And so what will the product of the new consultative body be? What will be done with it? I was told it was going to be presented to the President in July before the State of the Union. But eventually, it has to be welded together with the product of the House of Representatives. And if you follow the Constitution, 3/4, if this is going to be a constitutional assembly, it will have to be 3/4 vote by Congress. And what is Congress? Congress is the House of Representatives and the Senate. And therefore 3/4 voting separately, because that is the logic of a bicameral body. And so finally, preparation. I would like to summarize it by saying this: do not put the cart before the horse. In other words, we are going to craft a new constitution, but without the preparation. You know, I did not bring with me the 1991 Local Government Code. In section 521 of the Local Government Code, it says, Congress is mandated once every 5 years to update and revise that code. And so in the public hearings 3 weeks ago, I was faced by 14 senators, and I asked them, Your Honors, may I ask you a question? All right, what is it? And I said, 27 years have passed since the Local Government Code. Can you tell me how many times have you amended the Local Government Code of 1991? Would you like to hazard a guess what they said? 14 of them? None. If you were serious about the importance of the local government units of the autonomous regions, why have you not touched this document, which is so basic to empower the local branches of government? Why have you not improved it? Why only now? And so therefore, allow me to end. I want to speak to you. I was a teacher here for many years. Some of the happiest years of my life I spent in this campus. I'm very happy to be here with young people like yourselves. When I'm with young people like yourselves, there is one thing that stirs in my heart. And what is that? Courage. You know, fellow UP teachers and students, allow me to end with a few thoughts on the University of the Philippines' best-known symbol, its own profile of courage, the oblation. Commissioned by UP President Palma, he requested the sculptor Guillermo Tolentino to base the work on the second verse of Jose Rizal's Mi Ultimo Adios. In the fields of battle, others give you their lives without doubt, without regrets. In combat or cruel martyrdom, if the home or country asks, it's all the same. It matters not. And the sculptor Tolentino puts it simply, he puts it bluntly. The oblation symbolizes all the unknown heroes who fell during the night. Fellow UP teachers, UP students, let us honor all those known and unknown heroes who fell during the night by continuing their struggle with both wisdom and courage, by pushing back against the politics of hate and fear, and rediscovering a brave brand of politics of the Pia Ranada type. By staying the course in the battle yet to come, and by speaking truth to power, by waging a just peace and not waging the wrong war. And if war is to be waged, I do not believe in war, but if war has to be waged, then let us wage it against poverty and inequality with all our strength, with all our resources, with all our energy, and the urgency at our disposal. For there is no time to lose and no resources to waste. Long live UP. Long live the students.